family. It's your sister, Reverend Jocelyn here, and welcome to another episode of Faith on the Journey. If this is your first time tuning in, we welcome you. We're so glad that you are here and want you to know that we're committed to helping you strengthen your faith, heal your heart, and discover a sense of community. And we do so through a variety of ways by connecting you with a team of Christian counselors and offering trauma healing trainings across the country. You can learn about these resources and so much more by visiting our website at faithonthejourney.org. Again, that is faithonthejourney.org. Now, today I'm going to share something very special with you, and it's coming from an experience that I recently had. I actually was going through some old boxes, cleaning some things out, purging, and I found this old dusty notebook. It looked like it was 30, 40 years old. And the funny thing was, it was 30 something years old. And it happened to be my first diary. You see this, those who are watching this online, this is my first little diary. There's a little spiral notebook here. And it was from when I was 11 years old. Yes. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, how precious is this little Jocelyn's thoughts from when she was 11? And I want to share this moment with you and share my first journal entry with you because we're close like that, right? And then I'm going to talk about how we can learn from just this simple experience or this simple expression. So here we go. Are you ready? Hello. This is my first time writing in a diary. I got my yearbook today, and all my friends signed it. My teacher is in charge of it. Imagine how she acted today. Okay. We also had an ice cream party today and a jeans day. I had whipped cream and sprinkles and a cherry on top. Today was a good day, except for the homework. Bye. Signed, Jocelyn. Ah, is that so funny? Oh man, I was cracking up when I read that first diary entry. But then as I flipped through it and saw some of the later pages, I also saw that I had some more serious entries around some of the challenges that I had as it relates to self-esteem and acne problems. We all can relate to that. And then flipping through, I also journaled about times where I lost loved ones. It was a really sincere journal entry about losing my uncle to gun violence and how I was praying for my family. And this was like around the age of 11 or 12 years old. Then I had a journal entry where I was reflecting on one of my family members, actually my father, who battled with cancer at one point in his life, and how I was praying for him. And I captured that at the ages of 11, 12 years old, my process of working through those emotions. And I actually was so surprised because I forgot that I started to adapt this practice of journaling at such a young age. But I share that with you today because I think we can sometimes underestimate the power of journaling. At least some of us can, even myself at some points. There were times in which I did not journal, but the times that I did, I was so grateful for a number of reasons because it's a valuable tool that we have literally at our fingertips where we can write out our thoughts, our expressions, our hopes, our dreams, our pain in a way that can help us to process and bring healing. And so today I want to share some reflections with you that I've learned over the years about the power of journaling and how if we use it and it becomes a regular practice, it can really be something that shifts how we engage life in general, right? And so one of the first points I want to make is that journaling helps us process pain instead of suppressing it. Now, there are times in which you have some heavy things that you are working through. I mean, you might be angry at someone who has done some wrong. You might have a situation where it's really complicated and your thoughts are scattered and you really don't want to share with anyone, but you want to get it out, and because you don't have a method of getting it out, you just kind of ruminate and kind of or maybe suppress those things or maybe suppress these big emotions, the anger that you feel. Journaling, however, is a method that allows for you to be able to express versus suppress these thoughts, these emotions. And it's just you and God. It's meant for just you and God. So it's a practice where you don't have to worry about your grammar per se and say, oh, did I spell check that? Let me run this through Grammarly. No one cares. You don't have to do that in your journal. You can write out whatever comes to mind. It is unfiltered. It allows you to get it out and even be able to name certain emotions as you work through it. Now, in my little journal entry from my first diary attempt, I was talking about some things related to almost like a reporter, just describing what took place that day. And when you first start off writing in a journal, you might just be like, oh, I went to the gym. I saw family today, blah, blah, blah. But as I started journaling more, even as a child, my journal entries went from just being surface, like chronological order of what I did today, to actually, these are the thoughts, these are the emotions, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm processing. And for me, it was a very helpful tool to help me to work through certain things that I didn't want to carry with me long term. Journaling is a great tool for that. Also, journaling is a tool that you can use for self awareness and self reflection. Sometimes our minds are just kind of all over the place. We're so busy, we don't have a lot of downtime. But when we actually sit down and write out our thoughts and sometimes wrestle with big questions about our desires, our hopes, our dreams, some of the things that we are really struggling with as it relates to forgiveness and healing, some of these profound questions that we can ask ourselves, if we sit in it, it allows for us to go deeper in our level of self awareness about ourselves, what we desire, what we feel, what our inner voice is telling us in that moment. It allows us to kind of drown out all the noise from the outside and really start doing the inward work that's important for us to be able to grow and to develop in this Christian walk and in life to become emotionally mature. That's why journaling is a great tool because, again, it allows for you to do that internal work. Journaling is also a method that can help us to improve our prayer life because we also see that it's almost like journal entries that we get a chance, a blessing to read in the Bible when we see laments and prayers to God. They're captured in writing. How many times we find ourselves at a place where we are just crying out to God, God, I'm struggling right now. God, I'm going through this situation. God, I don't know what to do. Many of my journal entries are actually prayers. They're prayers to God. They're just in written form where I'm saying, God, I'm believing you for this. God, I really don't know how to handle this situation. God, my heart is broken right now. These are actually journal entries, but prayers that are captured long term in a journal. And the amazing thing about that is when you look back and you find the journal years later, then you're able to look back and see those prayer requests, those communications that you've had with God, and you're able to say, wow, God, you answered that prayer. If I forgot I prayed about that. God, wow, you brought me through that situation. You brought me through that season. I thought that I was going to drown at that point in time, but you brought me through that. That's the beauty about journaling. And I think about seasons where God has brought me through. There was one time in which I went through a really, really difficult breakup. And I was journaling about that and processing. And, you look at the evolution, the process of you actually working through the pain, the emotions, and to see, okay, this is how I went through this healing process. This is what I learned from that breakup. This is what I discovered about myself. This is the lessons that I have learned. Particularly when we go through seasons of life that are challenging, you don't want to lose the lesson from the loss that you've gone through, the mistakes that you've made. journaling allows for you to capture all of these valuable gems and lessons that you gain from some of those tough seasons in life, because it slows you down enough to do the reflective work, to process what was going on at that time. So that's another thing that helps you when you journal. So we're going to take a quick pause for a commercial break. And when we get back, I'm going to talk about some other benefits of journaling. And then we're going to talk about some different methods to help you journal as well. I'll see you when we get back from this commercial break.
Imagine leading a retreat where your members don't just leave refreshed, but leave lighter, freer, and more whole than when they came. Because the truth is, so many people in your congregation are carrying heavy burdens, trauma, grief, burnout, and unresolved pain. And while a weekend away might offer rest, healing requires more than just that. Hi, I'm Reverend Jocelyn from Faith on the Journey. And for over 7 years, we've helped thousands of people across the country find healing through Christian trauma-informed care, counseling, and retreats. We partner with churches like yours to design customized healing retreats that are spirit-led gatherings that create space for restoration, reflection, and reconnection with God. Now, these aren't just cookie-cutter events. We take time to understand your people, your goals, and your ministry vision, so we can tailor a retreat experience that meets your congregation's needs right where they are. Whether you're looking to help your members process grief, recover from burnout, or simply create a space where broken hearts can be mended in God's presence, our team is here to help you make that vision a reality. So visit faithonthejourney.org to schedule a call with our team today so we can learn more and help you design a healing retreat that truly transforms. Your next retreat can be the turning point someone in your church has been praying for. Let's make this a reality together.
Trauma healing! Welcome back from our commercial break. Now, we're talking about the benefits of journaling, and there are a number of benefits from doing this simple practice to help you to reflect, to help you to process some of these huge emotions that are going on inside of you. But one of the next benefits that I want to talk about today is how journaling provides you with a safe space to just be real, to get it out. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but sometimes we just really can't say what we're thinking. It would be not just rude, it would be straight up mean. And we got to get some of these thoughts worked out of our head, because sometimes we're just angry. We might have been emotionally stimulated, or some might say triggered. We might have some other stuff that we just need to work through ourselves. And journaling allows for us to process these emotions. And sometimes when I got into an argument with someone, or someone said something that I didn't like, I went to that journal and I was like, man, they said this and I'm upset and I don't like this and I don't blah 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 blah. And no one could see that raw stuff. It's kind of equivalent to when you are really upset and you want to send that email in the office. You might want to send it to the boss, but you're like, I can't really say or send that email because I'm going to get in trouble if I sent that raw email. So you write it like 3 times over and you give them the more PG-13 version of the email. Well, journaling is the raw version of the email that you would have sent to allow for you to get all these unprocessed thoughts out. And then oftentimes what happens once I get all of these big emotions and feelings out the way, and then I look back and do some reflecting, I'm able to ask some deeper questions like, okay, what's really going on here? You are like really mad right now. Why are you so upset? What's going on? Is this really the person that's upsetting you, or the situation? Is that upsetting you because of what? What's going on? So you start asking these questions to yourself around the situation and reflect. And journaling allows for you to get yourself together by getting those emotions out, and then you can look back and do deeper work once you express yourself. And the nice thing is there's no judgment, because literally no one sees it. It's just between you and God. So journaling allows for you to do that unfiltered work. Also, the nice thing about journaling is it helps you to clarify your purpose and decisions. It gives you clarity because if you do the regular reflection around, okay, what do I like? Why what are you doing in this season, God? Where are you leading me? Because again, oftentimes when I'm journaling, it could be conversations with God, me capturing some of the gems and downloads that God gives me. So I'll journal about these, moments that I get with God, and I'll journal these dreams that I have and the things that give me joy and purpose. I'll also journal how I'm doing as it relates to certain goals that I have. One of the practices that a friend of mine has that I really admire is he self reflects regularly around how he has done towards certain goals that he has. He will reflect, for example, okay, I have these health goals that I set for the week. And I'll reflect if I was him on, okay, what caused me not to go to the gym 4 times a week? What caused me not to hydrate myself or miss this benchmark or eat a tub of ice cream or whatever it is? He will reflect each week on how effectively he did towards reaching those goals and journal about how he did, if he met those goals, and if he did not, what was the reason why. And it helps him to stay accountable as relates to his promises to himself related to the goals that he has to better himself. So whether you are journaling your process of reaching health goals, working on your ministry, whatever's going on in your life, it can really help you to see how far you've come and also document the process, which is, again, a really cool benefit for journaling is you get to document, archive your journey, your process. Say, for example, you are working on your memoir or your book, and you are maybe in your 50s, 60s now. Some of the stuff you can remember, but it would be a lot easier if you had a journal where you had all of your thoughts and highs and lows and lessons of life written down, and you can refer to that and say, wow, man, I forgot that happened. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I should put this in this book. Think about it as you are archiving this amazing roller coaster ride life that you're on, and you're able to see the times in which you've grown tremendously. You can go back into those valley moments because, again, depending on how deep you go with the journaling, I document and probably journal more when I'm in those valley moments, and you get to see how it was feeling at that time and how God has brought you through. So, for those of you who are thinking about writing a memoir down the line, or even just in general, to be able to look back and say, yep, these are the times in which God showed his faithfulness, it allows for you to archive your process and your growth. And it's also an opportunity for testimony. Now, for some of us, we're like, yeah, absolutely not. I don't want anybody to read my journal after I'm dead. I get that too. But for some of us, I mean, hey, you're like, hey, I'm gone. So if they find out this stuff about me, oh well. But this brings me actually to one of my points. For some of us, we're not journaling because we are afraid that somebody's going to find our journal and read it when we are out of here, or maybe while we're still alive. If someone will find it, you're like, this would be something very traumatic. And I've had someone break into my journal before. It was traumatic. Let me tell you what I have done. I still do try to do a written form journal. Sometimes I have purchased a journal with a lock on it. But for extra security purposes, I've actually also found myself using a digital journal. And an only way for someone to get into that encrypted digital journal is to do face recognition or for them to have a PIN code, which no one else has, right? And the cool thing about the digital journal, in addition to the security features, I was able to also do audio messages where I was capturing my thoughts and just talking to my phone. I also did video journals, and those video journals were so precious because during some of the difficult times that I had where I was journaling, I got to see myself lamenting and crying. I got to see those expressions. I got to see the moment. It took me in there. So that could be an option for you if you are afraid of someone finding your journal that's in physical form, just get a digital journal. Yes, it's not the exact same thing as writing it out, but at least it allows for you to express your thoughts, to be able to capture these moments and express versus suppress. So that is it for today's episode. I just wanted to share this moment with you because I know that journaling is such a powerful tool to help you on your healing journey. And in addition to journaling as a safe, no judgment outlet, I also want to remind you you can always turn to Christian counseling. And this is where we step in. We have a team of amazing Christian counselors who are ready and willing to serve you and support you on your healing journey. And you can learn more about this on our website at faithonthejourney.org. Again, that is faithonthejourney.org. So if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with a friend. That's it for this week, family. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, you stay encouraged and you keep your faith on the journey. I'll see you soon, family.